Hey, this is Lisa Diaz, your seesaw and maven. And guess what, you all? We are back at it again. I have another fantastic friend who's doing fantastic things. She's such a awesome person, songwriter. Okay, watch me mess this word. We just gonna say singer because before I mess up the word, psalmist. I think that's what I was trying to say. But anyway, I have for you, Dea Viola. Come on, girl, come on in the room. Come on in the room, girl. Come on in the room. Hey, beautiful.
Hello, hello. How are you?
How are you? I am fantastic. How are you?
I am well, and I am thankful for being here today. Thank you for inviting me to have this conversation.
Oh, you are so welcome. So come on in. Dear of them. Tell our friends and our family. Tell them a little bit about you.
Okay, so my name is Dea Viola, and I'm a singer songwriter, as you have stated before. I'm a mom of five and a grandmother, and I love God. I love serving Him. I love speaking to people on His behalf, um, or speaking to Him on others' behalf as well. And life is good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So tell us, in the midst of it all, what are you grateful for?
Well, to start, I'm grateful for being here today with you. I think this is a great opportunity to talk about what a blessing it is. And this was as what I call an unexpected blessing, as you called me a couple of days ago and invited me to be a part of this. And I'm so thankful to be here. I have a whole lot to say about gratitude, about being grateful. And before I start getting into it, I wanted to share with you one of my favorite scriptures. And it is from the book of
Sure.
Philippians, chapter 4, verse 6. And it says, "Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He has done." And I love that last little part. Thank Him for all He has done. And it makes me think about gratitude being something that you become grateful because of what you have already been given. We have been given so
Mm-hmm.
much. We have so many blessings around us. Even when we don't see it, the blessings are still there. And of course, blessings, gratitude is the portal to more blessings. That is true as well. But I think that the place where we start is knowing that we've already been given so much. And this is why we share our blessings with others. This is why we continue to be grateful. Gratitude is a form of worship. When you say, I am
Mm-hmm.
thankful, you're really worshiping the Lord and praising Him and thanking Him for the things that He has done for you. In order to be grateful, you don't have to be grateful for material things. You could. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
part of abundance is part of what God wants for us, but there's still so much to be grateful for, even for a feeling of comfort. For example, we spoke before. I told you a story about a very cold day that I I was at the supermarket, and for whatever reason I was so cold. I had a hat on, I had a jacket on, but my body just wouldn't warm up. And when I walked in, they had a little place that sold food inside the supermarket. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get
Mm-hmm.
myself a cup of squash soup. And there was butternut squash. And I sat down and started drinking my soup. And all of a sudden, my eyes filled with tears because the feeling of comfort, I started to
Mm-hmm.
warm up from the inside out. And it was so delicious. And I thought, this is something so small, but I am so grateful for this cup of soup. And it made me think of the people that may have nothing to eat, the people that go hungry. So I thought, wow, I have a lot. I am at the store to go food shopping for my family. I'm having a warm cup of
Mm-hmm.
soup. I have a place to sit. I'm going to get in my car when I'm done and drive home. And I started to realize that in these simple things, there is so much. As a matter of fact, um, I started to realize that the things that we have, the things that we own, even even the privilege that we have, It's not just surrounding material things. It is a privilege to have
Mhm.
hot water, running water, to have electricity, to be able to have hygiene.
Yes.
Is such a vital thing for us. It's a privilege, right? But it should be a right to all. Hygiene should be a right to all, but yet it isn't. So when you think along those
Right.
lines, you realize that there is so much more to be grateful for. Of course, we're grateful for material things because those are called provisions, and the Lord wants us to be provided for.
Mhm.
But He also wants us to be aware of the blessings all around us, not just the material blessings, like things such as friendship, such as comfort, joy, health, hygiene,
Yeah.
all of those things. Um,
Yeah.
one,
Absolutely.
one other thing that
Absolutely. When you was talking about the soup, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that one of the things that I learned too about gratitude is that when made the time to come up with the things I was grateful for, it just felt like a better day. For 3 months,
Mhm.
more than 3 months actually, every day I wrote down on a piece of paper 10 things I was grateful for. And when I first started doing this exercise, I thought, wow, 10 things is a lot. Maybe I could write one or two every day, but I pushed myself to find 10 things every day. And at the end of 100 days, I had 1,000 things I was grateful for. I mean, it just kept on
Mm.
growing and growing and growing. Um, 10 days later, I have 100 days, I have 1,000. And it became amazing to think that way, to think that I could have those many things that I was grateful for. Sometimes there were people in my life. Sometimes it was a thought or an opportunity to start the day over, or how that bill got paid, or there's so much to be grateful for. Really, there is. I always say that gratitude is the portal to a limitless path of light and the path to the God
Mhm.
within. Because again, we connect with the Lord when we say we're thankful. So,
Yes.
but you're
Yes.
saying about the
Yes.
soup, it reminded you of something.
When you talked about the soup, I thought of the soup like a hug. You know how a warm hug make you feel? Like and sometimes it's the heartiness.
Yes.
And just make just a it just from the inside out.
That's true.
Look who's making their guest appearance.
Making a guest appearance by this is my oldest rescue cat. I have three rescue cats, and this is Hershey who's making
Hmm.
an entrance. So one of the things too that I think about is whenever you talk about gratitude, being grateful, being thankful, you're obviously referring to favors and blessings, right? Things that were given, things that we didn't even expect to
Hmm.
have. And one of the things that I like to say is that in order for you to have access to those blessings, you need to feel deserving. Sometimes we
Hmm.
have blessings, but we don't see it because we don't feel deserving of them, or because we're going through a hard time in our lives and we're not able to access that place of blessing. So I always say being a worthy recipient is what makes us have access to the blessings that are around us, because we're open, first of all, to receive them. And then we also can see way more than it seems. There is always some unseen blessing. There is always something that's unexpected. There is always more than we can actually see, beyond what we can see. You've heard the expression blessed beyond measure, right? And blessed beyond
Yes.
measure is actually for the things that we actually can assess and say, well, I think that this is a great blessing. I wasn't expecting that much. But there are also the unexpected blessings, those that we didn't even know were going to happen. The unexpected phone call, like you did when you called me and said, hey, would you like to do this, be a part of this series of 30 days of gratitude with me? That was an unexpected blessing. We hadn't spoken in so long, right? It's just, it was one of those things, this spur of the
Hmm.
um, so yeah, so I'm thankful for a lot. So now that I've said the reasons why, so let me list a couple of things. One was, of course, being here with you. I am thankful for provisions. In a time such as this, remember in the early stages of the pandemic, everybody ran to the store and you had to get your provisions, and it was hard to get food in the house and make sure, just because it was hard to have access to it. So I was grateful that I had provisions. I was grateful that my family was together. I was grateful that, well, I am grateful that my family is well. I'm grateful for friends. I'm grateful for reading good books, because that's something I do daily. I'm always reading a book. I never go without reading. So I'm grateful for that. I am
Yes.
grateful that in spite of my poor vision, I still can see because I still can see. I wear glasses and my prescription is very strong, but I still can see. Um, oh gosh, I'm grateful for my family above all, and of course grateful most of all for God's love and mercy, in my life. And I know there's so much more.
Absolutely.
Could you share with me
Absolutely.
something that
Absolutely.
you're grateful for?
Oh, girls. Oh, first of all, I am grateful for my relationship with God. That's key for me. I am truly grateful for that. I am super grateful for my family, my friends, the open doors, the closed doors, the hedge of protection, the umbrella that God has over us, and to be in sound mind. With so much stuff going on, it's easy to waver, and the negativity will come in. But thank God for covering my mind. And
So important.
I, regardless of what's going on right now, He is steady keeping me.
Hmm.
He's keeping me. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for those things. It's so much more. But those things, that's just a little snippet of it. But I'm grateful for so many other things that God has done. And you know what? And I'm already praising in advance for future things.
Hmm.
My expectation
I
is
love what
far.
I love what you said about sound mind. There's one of my favorite scriptures is the second book of Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7.
Hmm.
It says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And the sound mind, as you
Yeah.
said, is so important because it is the place, a mindset that if you don't have it in the right place, you can't access either neither love or power. So we need to have a
Hmm.
sound mind in order to have access to those things, in order to actually experience love and power. Because if we don't, then we have fear. Well, another guest appearance.
Hmm.
That's my second rescue. That's that's actually Misty. Yep, that's Misty. That's another rescue right there. I'm grateful for my cats too because they bring a lot of joy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, definitely it is really important to have a sound mind. Sound mind is where you place your full armor of God. Is also, I mean, if you don't have a sound mind, then the enemy comes in and lies to you,
Hmm.
makes you do things that you don't want to do, and tempts you and makes you think things that you're not enough, or that you're not blessed, and all of that. So important, really so important. Sound mind goes right along the lines with having access to and
Hmm.
authority and dominion over the areas of our lives where we need to make those declarations in order to feel worthy of receiving the blessings. It's almost like everything is connected. That's why when you said, we're going to talk about gratitude, and I thought, gratitude is so much. It is a limitless path of light. It has to do with being blessed. It has to do with having a sound mind. It has to do with feeling worthy. It has to do with more blessings. It has to do with love and power and authority to declare and decree dominion over every area of our lives. It's such a full circle um, feeling. Gratitude is a lot of things. So, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So, Dale, tell us about your music? Because we mentioned it. So if they want to hear your music, tell us about your songs you've written.
Okay. So I recently have released a single called You Lift Me Up. And the reason why I love this song so much is because when I wrote that song, I was going through a very hard time in my life. And I actually couldn't see God. I was wondering if he had forgotten me. And I know this is something that happens quite a lot. A lot of people feel either not worthy or they feel forgotten when their prayers don't go answered or when things happen in their lives that they don't have any control over. So I was at that place and I started questioning whether God saw me or not. But I think because I was already a spiritual person, there was a part of me that had a little bit of faith that in the faith was really the desire that God would see me, that God would look over me and take care of me. So I wrote this song called You Lift Me Up, and it describes all about how when I'm feeling down or sad or heartbroken, I don't see God. I can't
Mm-hmm.
see his face. I can't feel him, but that he's still there, right? So at the end of the song, I end up saying, I go into this little part of the song that talks about, I choose to stand in faith in my darkest days. I'm not alone. And that in spite of pain, I could still be healed. I'm not alone. I'm going to sing a little bit for you a cappella so you can hear. So I choose to stand in faith on my darkest days. I'm not alone. And in spite of pain, I can still be healed. I'm not alone. So that's, how the song pretty much ends like that. And it just basically says, it doesn't even matter what storm you're going through. God is always there. You're never alone. You're not alone. None of us are alone ever, ever. And, when I sing this song, a part of it makes me feel sad, but a part of me makes me feel encouraged. At the end of the song,
Yes.
it ends on a very quiet note. The instrumentation falls all out of the song, and it's just my voice at the end singing as if I just sang now a cappella. And it is because it was supposed to be a moment of reflection, almost like you talk about your problems and you just stated everything that was going on, but then it comes that time where it's just you and God. And now you're making an affirmation, that in spite of the pain, you still can be healed and that you're not alone. And that's really an affirmation of faith. It's saying, you know what, even though all of those things happen, I still have faith, I still have hope, I am not alone. And furthermore, that's another thing. God is, we have an inclusive God, right? A God that gives mercy to all we have to do is give him access. We have to give him
Yeah.
access to us by declaring that we are open to receive his love and his grace in our lives. But even if we're not, God still gives grace to all. um, I like to think that one of the things that I have with my music ministry is a mission to convey just that, to convey that a relationship
Mm-hmm.
with God is attainable. The relationship is attainable. You don't have to be perfect to have the blessings that God has for you, to become the plans that He has for you. Because a lot of people say, well, I don't know, I'm not good enough for God. God wouldn't like me. I'm crazy, or God
Mm-hmm.
like the life that I've had. Well, all of us have been there where we weren't, we hadn't found him at some point in our lives. And then we found him, and then we gave our lives to him. And so we live a life that's full of faith. And just because we love God doesn't mean we don't have struggles. We all do. And again, as we had a
That's right.
conversation
That's
earlier,
right.
not all storms come from the enemy either. One of the things that I learned with my own struggles, it was that first of all, a lot of them were self-inflicted. A lot of them were self-inflicted, but the ones that I felt that, they were storms, and I felt, well, God should have helped me or should have interceded. Well, you know what, sometimes he wants us to just maybe see something we haven't seen before, or do something that we haven't done yet, or hear something that we haven't heard, and therefore we have to go through the storm. It's how we come out of it on the other side that's going to make a difference. It is really about the story. Not, it's not about triumph. Okay. At the end of the day, it is not even about triumphing. It's about the journey. It's about the relationship that you build in your journey with God, in your walk with God. So all of those things again tie in with gratitude, and because I was talking about my music, so going back to that. So I have a music ministry, and so I am, as you see on the screen, I am on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as Dea Ministry. I have a YouTube channel that is Dea Music Ministry. I am currently enrolled in a marriage and family counseling program at Light University that is also powered by the American Association for Christian Counselors. I recently completed Dr. Cindy Trim's Kingdom School of Ministry. And no, I'm not a pastor, but I do want to talk to people. And I wanted to let people know, most importantly, that just because you're not a pastor doesn't mean you cannot minister to people. Doesn't mean you can't have a ministry. You know, you could have a music ministry. I have a friend who does makeup, but during her makeup sessions, when she does her videos, she talks about God. You know, she will recite verses. She'll tell people that God loves them. So you can literally minister to anyone who is willing to listen. Hey, not everybody wants to hear the scriptures, but they might listen if you tell them your
That's right.
testimony, you know, your story with God and how God
Yeah,
changed your life. They may not understand the scriptures or the structure of the Bible, but they will know that there's something about you that it's different, and they want to know what that is. So I always say, I encourage people to keep expressing themselves as God's children, um, to always put God in front of everything they say and do. It is not always easy, right? Because the minute you get your foot out the door and you get in your car, there's going to be somebody that's going to make you late, or somebody's going to honk the horn at you, and you're going to want to say something that you're not supposed to say. But the beauty about it is that on daily basis, we're given opportunities to start over. And that happens every hour, every minute, actually. Every minute of the day, we're given the opportunity to start over. So when you're having a bad day, you know, it's very common to hear people say, oh, I wish this day just would start over. Well, start over right now. You know, start over right now.
mhm.
You just This is what's beautiful about the relationship with God. We could literally do something wrong, and within the next second, be new, be whole again. You know, just repent and ask Jesus, ask God for forgiveness that we were rude or judgmental. And in that next minute, start over and just be what God designed
Amen.
to be. So,
Yeah, I see mine kind of act up on me now. It's trying, Satan always trying to come and interrupt some stuff, but you are right. That he gives us that next moment to get it together and to
yes,
get back on track. And that right there is again something I am definitely something else that I am definitely grateful for. And I'm grateful that you took your time and you shared your day with me and helped you know sing for us, you know, giving us some good nuggets and encouragement. And so I appreciate you that in the midst of all, you were here. God met us here. We have a mindset of determination. And so we just get through things. We don't let stuff stop us from doing what we need and we desire to do. So I am definitely grateful for that. So you all, guess what? You have just witnessed another episode of In the Midst of It All Grateful. And you all believe we are already in episode 30 something. It is already 30 something, and we're going to continue to the 31st of December. And I know for a fact that lives have been blessed with the wonderful testimonies that have gone forth. I know hope has been provided. And guess what? If you are that person that have a testimony you would like to share, information will be above. You can always inbox me, come and hang out, share your message of hope, love, and trust, and watch you change lives. Watch you change lives. Okay? So until we meet again, this is Lisa D. Adams, your Seesaw Maven, and I will talk to you soon.
thank you for having me. God bless you.
Yes,